Hey guys, welcome to my update video on my recently purchased BMW G11 730D 2016 model. If you missed my collection video, I suggest you go and watch that because I go over this car in detail, look at its spec, etc. There'll be a link to it up here or in the description below. While we're talking about that, I'd just like to say a big thanks to everyone's really positive response to me picking this car up. I know it was a very left field buying option and certainly nothing like the i20N or Fiesta ST that I was initially looking at buying. And I did say in the collection video that I've purchased this car for one specific reason. I've actually had it now for, must be coming up to close to 6 weeks, and I've done almost 1,000 miles in it. In fact, I've been using it very much as my daily car because I absolutely love it. Not only is it super efficient, but it's just such a comfortable, luxurious place to sit, and really does bring back good memories of my chauffeuring days that aren't that far long gone. And in fact, today, well, I'm heading into central London in thick rush hour traffic, and this really does remind me of being a chauffeur. Going back to the original collection video, I actually talked about this car as having the brilliant N57 engine, which in fact it actually has the B57, and a few of you had corrected me in the comments section, so thanks to those that had. I had kind of mistakenly got that wrong. The B57 is basically the N57 replacement, so it's a 3-litre inline-6 turbo diesel. I believe the B57 came out in 2015, which was the year before this car was manufactured, and is essentially the latest and greatest 6-pot diesel from BMW, although now they have the mild hybrid system as well. So yep, some horns blowing, you know you're in London. But that's even better for me that it's got the latest generation, because obviously the latest generation is a little bit more efficient. And again, as many of you had guessed, the main video that I will be actually filming tomorrow, that's the reason I'm coming into London, will be mileage based. So essentially, yeah, a distance challenge in this car, because for my long-term viewers, well, about 18 months ago, I filmed a long distance, sort of how far can you go on one tank. Let's just let these police through. Basically do what they want, really, can't they? I'm not going to argue with them. Yeah, with my 18 months ago, with my older 7 Series, which was actually a newer 7 Series because it was a 2020 model, I filmed the how far could you go on one tank video with that particular car. Now, unfortunately, the timing was really bad. So it was the beginning of 2021. There was lockdowns in place. Certainly within sort of the UK, you couldn't go up to Scotland, certainly not over to mainland Europe. The weather was really bad, and the day that I chose to do it, the traffic was bad. So for a long distance challenge, the conditions just weren't ideal, but I did it anyway, and I managed to clock up just over 900 miles. I think it was 901 miles before I crawled into a petrol station just near where I used to live. And well, I thought that was impressive, but I knew that that car had more potential. The video did really well, and it surprised a lot of people. You know, not many can imagine a luxury car like this doing almost 1,000 miles. So yes, the reason I've got this car is to kind of redo that, but in a bit more of an exotic, adventurous way. And while we're on that subject, I just want to say a massive shout out and thanks to Adrian Flux Car Insurance. They insure all of my cars for the road, so the M2, the M3, and now this 7 Series, but they're actually going to be sponsoring the main video for this, so the next video on this 7 Series, which in turn is making it possible to do what we're doing, because some videos don't cost much money, like today's one. I'm just cruising through London. There's nothing fancy in there. You know, I'm not even doing any drive-bys or anything. It's all quite simple. and low cost for me. But others that sort of I dream up, well, they cost a lot of money, and unless I've got someone to sponsor it, they're just not possible. They're not viable, and I can't basically make it work in my head or in my bank account. So massive thanks to Adrian Flux. They have also decided to do a giveaway for a GoPro in the main video, but we'll talk about that when that video comes. And not only in the main video, they've also decided to give a lucky viewer a £50 Amazon voucher. And to win that £50 Amazon voucher, I want you all to comment below and guess how many miles I am going to be able to extract out of this 730D in the challenge. So the person who gets to the closest number in miles, if you put kilometers, then just make sure you put km or k next to it. Obviously I can easily convert that, but ideally put it in miles, and the closest person, and if there's two of you that guess correct, then the first person to guess correct will win a £50 Amazon voucher, which will be really handy. You can buy yourself a little treat from Amazon. So that's very nice of Adrian Flux to do that. I just mentioned I was doing this pre-video, and they said, hey, why don't you do a little giveaway in that as well. So very, very cool of them. So yeah, make sure you guess below before the end of the video, and there'll be one lucky winner for that. We talked about ride quality earlier on, and well, I'm very familiar with the 7 Series ride quality. It sits on adaptive air suspension, and it's just amazing. But most of the 7 Series that I've driven, or most of the 7 Series that are around here in Belgravia, well, they're all going to be on 19, 20, 21-inch wheels. This particular SE spec car is on 18-inch wheels. So what does that mean? Well, it means you've got massive tyre sidewalls and therefore an even better ride. I mean, I've never felt anything so comfortable. It really is just like a magic carpet. And where I live, I'm surrounded by horrible potholes from the HS2 works that are going on for many years. And in this car, you literally feel nothing when you're in my M2 or my M3, where you get shaken about all over the place. So it really has been a pleasure to drive. Michelin actually contacted me after I picked this up and asked me if I wanted a set of E-Primacy tyres. Now, it's no secret that I'm a Michelin brand ambassador. It's also no secret that I organically love Michelin tyres. Now, I'd heard about their Primacy tyres before because I actually ran a set on my 7 Series many years ago, but I'd never heard about their E-Primacy set, as in I didn't really know what they're about. I misunderstood that the E-Primacy tyres were for electric cars. They only launched about 12 months ago, so they're a very new tyre, and I just figured that E-Primacy meant that the tyre was designed for electric cars, but actually the E stands for efficiency, and therefore is good for combustion engine cars as well. And that's something that I wanted to clear up. They're very useful in electric cars because they do extend your range essentially. They have a 7% better rolling resistance or range than any other premium tyre out there. So super low resistance and very, very handy for the challenge that I'm basically putting forward to this car. So I just want to say a massive shout out and thanks to Michelin, and a huge thanks also to Black Circles for basically getting me the tyres so quickly and getting them fitted to this car at a brilliant tyre centre. Yeah, so very excited to have Michelin's on this car. I mean, of course that was going to happen, but the E-Primacy element of it is just a bonus, and it's exactly what I need with this car to eke out those last few miles that we might need. I've got no idea how close we are or we're not going to get to where we're planning on going. I'm really hoping we complete the challenge, but there's going to be no nonsense in it. It's not going to be dramatized. We should make it, but we'll just have to see. we'll have to wait and find out, and you'll have to wait and find out. But I'm really excited about this video, I really am. It's not my typical track day stuff. In fact, I was at a track day yesterday with Evo magazine in my M2 after it's had its modifications that you will be seeing on the channel very soon. Very stiff, very solid, very fast, but jumping out of that and into this, well, you couldn't get more of a contrast. And I'm glad that I'm doing the mileage challenge in this and not the M2, because that would be a very short-lived video. I'm going to end the video here because I am approaching the hotel that Patrick and I are staying at tonight in central London before we set off very early tomorrow. It's going to be about a 4 AM start. But it's a beautiful evening here in London. It's just so busy. I'm not used to all this traffic and chaos. I don't miss that part of the chauffeuring job. But please make sure you do leave a comment below with your guess of how far you think we're going to achieve on one tank of fuel in this 730D. Thanks so much for watching. Really appreciate the support as always. I will see you at another video very, very soon. Cheers.